Come on, woo! Good evening and welcome to Friday evening tea. I actually have tea this evening. Apologies for being a little late. You can blame Andy 2D6, who's in there with his moderator wrench, because just here, almost, oh, there is the fridge. So he was cooking because again, it's Friday. I'm in his turf at the moment. He's going to be streaming at 8 p.m. So we had to do some cooking and I was right in the way. So I thought rather than having Andy trying to get to the fridge, I'll just wait for it. So here we are. Bunch of news. There's some people not quite live yet, but hopefully it will all appear. Do let me know if you can see me. Hopefully it's fine. No, I'm slightly concerned. I will carry on and hope that people can see me. It's probably just a bit of a delay. Yay, there we are. I have my new mug. Peachy Tips, which is why I have a tea in it, because it seemed I should have a proper tea. Tea enthusiasts. Is that a standard? Standard tea. I don't have the crazy milk like I do with the coffee. So a normal tea in a Peachy Tips mug. Because I was at Peachycon on Sunday, so I'll be talking about that. The topics of the day. We have Peachycon, Belgium, what? Lumberjills, Snorri Sturluson, and the Birka Warrior, and some no spoiler Alien Romulus. So where to begin? Yes, I mostly drink the herbal teas, but I was thinking, what am I actually gonna drink for this show? Because I don't want the rum. Well, I don't have anything to mix the rum with, so I lied in the thumbnail, and I thought I'll have a tea. So yes, here's a tea. I'll check its temperature before I begin. I am absolutely knackered. This is the downside of the Friday streams. Just right. So, where should we go? Is YouTube working? Please do let me know in the comments if you can see me and hear me. It's not just a cry for engagement. So, thank you for coming along. Last Sunday, so where should I get stuff here? Last Sunday, I couldn't stream last Sunday because I was away at Peachycon. A lot of people afterwards went, "What? We didn't even hear about this." It was because it was mostly a meetup for the Patreon folk, and it was only supposed to be a little thing. And then he panicked and went, "Oh, I need to I need to put more things on to entertain the people." So there was a bit more on, but it wasn't advertised or anything. It was just a small meetup, really. It'd be like if we had a Sunday morning coffee meetup. Oh my god, we should do that next year. I've been looking at everyone else's events and taking what I like and what I don't like. Peachycon was ace, which I will talk about now. So yeah, so if you hadn't heard about it, I only heard about it because when we were in the car to GriffCon, he mentioned it. I went, "What, Peachycon?" And he was like, "Bugger." Yep, I'm coming. So Peachycon was in Derby, and it was Mr. Chris Peach of Peachy Tips, ex-GW man, who I'm sure you've all heard of. There's his little logo. There's this mug. Gotta have a sip. So he left GW, like a year and a half, maybe more ago. I don't know time anymore. Then he was part of the painting phase. About 6 months ago, he left the painting phase to go free spirited. So by himself, he's only been 6 months. And what was really nice was in 6 months, technically more because of all the other stuff, but still, he's built up a really nice. It was what I would hope a bad Squiddo meetup would be. It was just really nice. And everyone was there because they liked Peachy. You're like, "Oh, isn't that lovely?" So it was in Derby. I wasn't there in a commercial sort of base. I said, "I'm just gonna go to sort of loiter about." And last minute, I said I can bring the colouring in. So you remember me showing the horrific Turkey Man colouring in from last week. not even last month because we're still in August. So I took some colouring along and just kind of let it be, put it on its own stand, and wandered off. And I painted. Oh, I should have got it. It's in the other room. I painted a mini. I chatted to a lot of people. I converted a lot of people to the way of Turkey Man. So I was slightly unsure whether it was appropriate to bring the Turkey Man print out. But of course, it was like the most popular. So I saw so many Turkey Man butts, and there was so much discussion of Turkey Man last Sunday. It was ridiculous. And I know I did convert a few because I got some orders afterwards. Great to meet you at Peachycon. I was like, yes, got some more. And I was hanging out with Louise because she was there also, just sort of loitering about. And Paul Hicks, I got to have a nice catch up with him because he was there sculpting. And then it was just people playing games and chatting, and there was tea and coffee on hand for whatever you want, and food, the best donuts. And it was just really lovely. It was just one of those, you know what I'm like for an event where it's just people meeting up, making friends, and and I'm like, oh, it's just really nice. Especially because I'm not actually in Peachy's Patreon. So I don't even know if he noticed that I'm not. I was like, hello, fellow Patreoners. I am here. I think I get a pass. I've mostly stopped backing Patreons because I'm maxed out. So that was wicked. I'm sure he'll be doing it next year and probably even bigger. But I kind of think stuff like that, if it stays relatively small, so it is actually just, the Patreons and the super fans, or keep it really nice. Hello, how do you do, fellow Patreons? I am one of them. I realised on the Discord, on the Peachy Discord, when you click on someone's profile, it tells you what level of Patreon they are. So he must know. How do you do? Mm-mm. So that was wicked, and I only have lots of really nice things to say about that. It was lovely. So yeah, Jamie was there. Anyone else was there from chat? There wasn't that many people who knew who I was, so it was good to inform them. Got to inform them. Yeah, Peachy looked well chuffed. And surprised that it was all going very well. And I think it was a bunch of his family were there helping out as well, and they were all really nice. The best bit was definitely there was a really long raffle because there was a lot of stuff. And one of the prizes was a massive stack of Sharp books. And this little girl won them. So this little girl, like, thank you. This is my dream gift, a massive stack of Sharp books. That's very cute. And yeah, it was just really lovely, and he's a lovely man. So I wanted to just say that was cool. It's nice when there are nice people around, and in this world, it's extra good. And they haven't been tainted by GW too much. So Peachycon, tick that off my list. Jess is a good lad. Andreas is a stack taller than the girl. Pretty much. It was like that sort of like, ooh. And then I felt that she was really embarrassed because everyone was laughing because of the funny scenario. But she was funny. So Peachycon, I'll take that off. She will be shouting bastard in a Yorkshire accent now. Definitely. She was pure that day. The next day she was just full on sharp. After that was the bank holiday, where I did nothing. Woo! So I wasn't in. And then the rest of this week, I've been an absolute beast again, like last year. I'd love to take pigs to Bad Squiddo Con, but it goes against my ethics. The only reason I took Little Egg to things was because I had to, because she needed her drugs all the time. Oh man, I could have like Dave and Carol. Could have both pigs come as a special guests and just parade them around and then put them back again. But yeah, £50 for a photo with Dave, what a bargain. So I've just been lots of the tasks. I was going through my to-do list from the week, and every day is just full of scribbles and crossing outs because I've done so much. Most of it's nothing to report because it's really boring. But again, a bit like last week, loads of little tasks that are just like, how is that even a task? I did them. I've just been on it, been scheduled. Andy can confirm. He has witnessed that I've been leaving the house early, but also coming back at a sensible time. So I've been doing the good hustle rather than when I left before he's got up and then return some point in the night and don't see him either. I've actually been trying to come back for a decent time and then going out in the hammock and not being too exhausted. So I'm knackered, but I've got that like fulfillment knackered rather than absolute burnout. So that's really nice. And all those tasks that have just been buzzing around my head, I've been doing. I've been doing so many of them, just being an efficiency machine, which I'm really, really chuffed with because there's a lot to be done. And I want to clear the deck for resistance fighters and guinea pets so that I can just come in and go, right, what are we doing? Rather than all these little tasks. She's like looking for things or sorting a thing out or I don't even know how to describe the little tasks. But yeah, it's I've caught up on a lot of them. And apologies if you were a little task. So there's been a lot of emails that I haven't replied to. I still haven't finished. But there were people that I still hadn't replied to. They tend not to be urgent ones because I sort of filter them out. But then if it's not for immediately right now, it tends to disappear. So I went through a lot of the disappeared. There's still more, but I'm mostly getting there. So I'm chuffed with that. So yeah, apologies if you were one of Annie's little tasks. You can get a t-shirt with that. I was saying talking of Andy, I was talking to him just now, and was it him? No, it wasn't Andy. It was a friend on the phone earlier. I said that I am learning history out of spite, and then I thought that's a really good t-shirt. I might add that to my Redbubble. What? You have a Redbubble shop with lots of Bad Squiddo imagery on there, including Turkey Man, but also lots of cool women. Sure do. Don't know if the link's down there. You'd hope so, but I don't think it is. In fact, I don't think it's even on the link tree or anywhere, so I should sort that out. No wonder no one's buying from it. But there is, I think if you search Bad Squiddo Redbubble, let me just write that down. Add Redbubble. That's the sort of little tasks that I've been doing. I'll need to a little bit there and a little bit there. To website and link tree. There we go. Live listing. A small one, as small as I go through. Gamers Grass's restock is here, and I have stocked it in on the website. That was the last thing I did before I left today. So if there's any of the Gamers Grass that you wanted, and it was out of stock, it is back in stock. So have a little look. I think I've got everything. And there's some new bits, a couple new bits. I've got a little bit of hair. Other way. So yeah, if you want some Gamers Grass, we gotcha, and all the plants and stuff too. So that arrived today. Sometimes something like that sits on the side, and I think, I have money sat there in a box. I should probably let people know that I have this product, like put it on my website. But then loads of other things are on fire, and it'll be 2 weeks. No, arrived today, up on the website. Thank you very much to, that'll be a link in to Great Escape Games because they have sponsored an event that I will be at, but I'll actually mention that when I get to it. Because there's two main bits to talk about today. So Games Grass back in stock. Woo woo! A small shout out. I ordered from the XLC, and I found them from Etsy. And I don't know why I didn't think to check their website because they've got lots more on their website. But it's pre-colored MDF stuff, and I have purchased it. So there is no. For full transparency, I'm not shilling yet. I'll let you know when I shill. I'm always quite obvious with my shilling. But I purchased these, so I got some boards. They arrived today. I wanted to get them glued because they're quite simple designs. I thought I could get those glued before the show and show them off, but I got back pretty late in the end. I have to say, I've been managing my time really well. It's because I put Gamers Grass on afterwards. So this is I put the wrong side on because I opened it up and then put it back wrong. But it's not a shed. Oh, this is a food stall, so that's the corrugated. All right, this is pretty cool. Oh, that's it. Is that the one? Yeah, food shack. Food shack, baby. And you can see they're just slabs. There's no extra bits, so it'll glue together in like minutes. And the print quality is really nice. So I'm going to put them together, partly for my photographing, because I'm addicted to buying terrain, and I just thought they'd be cool for The Walking Dead, because we still have a bit of a lack of variety in our personal gaming collection for things for The Walking Dead. I just want to get these billboards out because they're well good. I've got Food Shack stuck in my head now. Food Shack, baby. I might do this evening, but I also want to go out on the hammock. What will win? These are ridiculously well priced. It was £10 for the 3. You get, obviously, I won't show all the bits, but there's all the bits to assemble them. But these are the slabs, and they're 3 mil. I have loathing for 2 mil MDF. It just shouldn't exist. So weak. So look at these billboards, and they're double-sided as well. There's a little back bit. Look at that. I like just the little munch space out of them. Look at that, drive through. The end of the world is nigh. And yeah, I just really like the design on them's lovely. And they seem pretty good quality. And yeah, everything is 3 mil, 3 mil thick. So it's nice and sturdy. So they're the little struts and stuff. Blood splat. So yeah, I like that. They look pretty neat. I had a whole conversation about how there's levels and stuff like pre-printed. It's not hand sculpted brick by brick or anything. But sometimes you just want something that you can put up in the matter of, I think it is going to be a matter of minutes, and does the job. Especially if just things like painting daunt you. And the fact it's already done, like you can collage the bits, and if people want to do that, that's awesome. But the fact that if you don't have time or don't want to, you can just get them. I'm a big fan of that. It's all about the accessibility. And then if you want to make things fancier, you can. And I'm also a fan of that. So whilst I cannot vouch for them yet because I haven't put them together, they look like they're going to be a dream. Oh, look at that! So there's the back bit, right? And that just, I don't know if this is correct, but I've just put it on. And then it just pops in there. Nothing feels. I've broken quite a few MDF kits in my day. Looks like there's nothing that can break here because it's usually the 2 mil bits, and I get really annoyed. Sarissa has done some pre-coloured MDF. I haven't had a look at it yet though, so I cannot comment because I don't know. But I like the idea of pre-coloured MDF becoming more of a thing because that's what puts me off with MDF sometimes. I think I've got to do all the stuff to it though, but if you just got to assemble it, that's why I used to really like the foreground stuff, although it wasn't printed. Just having the colour on, the fact that you could assemble it and it's done, because I actually like assembling sometimes more than I like painting. I think I've got to be in a certain mood because I don't have to fully immerse painting, whereas assembling you can kind of a bit absent-mindedly do it and then go, oh, I've built a chicken coop. So I wanted to mention them because they arrived today and they look really nice. I have no idea who owns the XLC. It's a rarity. It's normally like, oh, I've got this from my friend. No, this is a random person I've probably spoke to before, to be fair. But no, just purchased, saw it on Etsy and went, that looks cool. So I'll give it a little shouty outy. So there's that. I backed a Kickstarter about role-playing lumberjills in like a dancing suitor game. So I think if you just put lumberjills Kickstarter, it comes up. And I backed for the high end, where you get to make your own lumberjill character and you get your own character cards and stuff. So the thing came out today well, I think it was like a few days ago, but I did it today, where you get to design the character and the lore of the character. And I went, oh, I've projected quite a lot. And they're like, who is the character? Like, me? So there's going to be a character in it, a 19-year-old Annie Norman who dreams to live a bohemian lifestyle away from a small village. And obviously ends up as a lumberjill, and I won't spoil the rest, but I got to basically write the story of the little Annie in 1940s, which I just thought was cute. And I went, is this weird? Should I have made somebody else a character? Nah, it's my money. I get to be the character. It's for the brand, maybe. So those are all the little bits. And then the two big newses. So, one, I'm going to Belgium. I've not been outside of this cursed island since the either event. Last time I was away was one of the Crisis shows, I think, at least 6 years ago. It was before one of, because Brexit's been in various stages, but it was before the last stage. I think the last one we went to was just after the vote, because I remember people talking about it and me going, it wasn't me. And that's funny, everyone's saying that. I'm like, yeah, because the people that are here in Europe aren't going to be voting for it. But they didn't believe me. I was like, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. So I haven't been abroad since then. Partly just because I've been really busy, and partly because now there's the extra. I've been thinking, oh, it's a big nightmare, but apparently it's not. But I am going to an event. It is not Crisis, I'm afraid, people who are excited about that. I'm going in 2 weeks, so not any time super soon. People are going to have a nice time. I will in a bit. I am going to an event called Camping Kit Bash in Ghent. And there's a castle in Ghent. And I'll briefly go over it, and then I might do a special, like a real YouTuber. I might do a video about it afterwards with lots of pictures and stuff. I am so excited, although it meant that I've had to get a speed run passport sorted and stuff, because I was a bit of a last minuter. But I'm going with a bunch of people that I met at Mates and Minis, and it looks like a bit like Mates and Minis, but over 3 days. And there are lots of sculptors. So you get sculpting classes, casting classes, lots of kit bashing, hanging out, kit bashing, painting, just making things, just a making workshop type thing for 3 days. In Ghent, with a whole bunch of people from all over Europe, and and the UK. There's quite a bunch of us going over. So I am so excited stuff. And having Belgian beer, I think it's going to be wicked, and it's going to leave me knackered, but in an extra like friends. I think it's going to be really, really nice, and I am super hyped. And the thing I mentioned earlier about Squiddo Games is that I've convinced them to donate a bunch to this mega kit bash thing. So we've got a loads of cowboys and cowgirls for the kit bash. So thank you very much, Squiddo Games. Let's have a sip. So that will be. So I will be here, I believe. I will be here next Sunday, and then there won't be a show the week after at all. But there'll be either a live and or another video where I talk about it. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Good, clean, riotous fun, exactly. I've got all my things ready for it. Very pleased. I had an incident in the passport booth, but we're over that now. We are over it. I went in the booth because I thought the booth will give me the correct photograph. That will be fine. So I have to go to Peterborough to get the speedy thing. I'll go to the booth. To cut a long story, the booth was not working. It was not cooperating. The touch thingy was, when it's off, so you're trying to click, and I'm in a small space. I'm getting annoyed. And then I realised that the screen and the pictures were coming out terrible, and it was going, oh no. And it kept saying, no, you're wearing glasses. And I wasn't wearing glasses, but I've got eye bags. So I was in the booth going, it's my eye, but I'm just tired. It's genetic as well, boy, the eye bags. I haven't got glasses, and it's going, no, none of these are going to be acceptable. And I realised that the screen was full of like thumbprints, the glass covering the lens. So obviously people thought that was the touchscreen. It's full of grubby hands. So I did that thing. I won't do it now. When you like lift your shirt. So I lifted my shirt to scrub it down. And it was quite high, so it was probably quite rude. But I was done at that point. I was like, oh, I will do this. And whilst doing that, part of me or my clothing must have clicked the next button, which is where the story splits, because I can tell you the fun version or what actually happened. In the funny made up story version, it took a photo of my belly and then printed off loads of my belly outside of the machine. It didn't. That would have been really funny. But it just clicked choose one of the crappy photos from earlier, and I went, there's no way back. So at that point, I may have been swearing at the machine, and it was very quiet in there, and I was near a checkout lady going, why is it not working? I was being a little bit more stressed. So I had to wait for it to print out some terrible pictures, and I'm going back in, going, have another £10 machine. I've got lots of £10, clearly, have another one. And I got there in the end. But the picture is, passport photos are never good, but it's a picture of a woman who's ready to kill. So I went and got a nice little treat after that. It's fine. But I've got also, because I've been on getting all these tasks, these are the sort of little tasks that I'd normally leave till the last minute. I will be back to my normal carnage, but I'm enjoying being oh no, and Daniel accidentally bought ice cream from a homophobe. No. How can a person selling ice cream be a homophobe? This day and age. What is this? So I got my picture sorted anyway. But these are the things that I leave till last minute. And it is technically last minute because I'm having to go to Peterborough, but it's fine. Insignificant details, which is why I'm not here on Sunday, because I'm venturing to Peterborough that somebody else did say to me, did confirm that it's the hardest place to get to. Oh, sorry you had a soured ice cream experience. How bizarre. Happy to take your money though, isn't he? So one more bit to go through. So Andy's got time, be panicking, going, I need to do my stream. So there will be soon lots of really cool stuff to report back about Belgium, and I'm really excited. It won't really affect Bad Squiddo because it's basically a long weekend that I'm going for, so it'll just be a little bit. It's what I've told you in advance. If there's anything you desperately want, and don't go, oh, I really want this. She's in Belgium. So I'm really excited to get, because I just wanted to go somewhere different. I've been looking at places to go. Going places in the UK is so expensive that it's cheaper to go somewhere else. I shared the video of Mighty Lancer looking at my stuff, and I remembered just now that I haven't watched it. Hopefully they say it's cool and I haven't shared it, or they go, it's terrible. So thank you, Mighty Lancer. They're really supportive. You can get Bad Squiddo stuff from Mighty Lancer, pretty much the whole range. I think they've got it all now. And I need to add it to my playlist. There's a few bits I need to add to playlists. That's very nice. I like them. Also got featured on Tabletop, which is good. I did like someone in the comments said, is this for a game or is it just random stuff? And someone else said, it's just random stuff. I was like, can't really argue with that. It's true. It's just random stuff. Yay! Daniel had nice tie though, so that's nice tie food. Oh yeah. Oh, imagine being a homophobic ice cream vendor. That should be on their tombstone at the end. They were a homophobic ice cream vendor. So the last thing, I'm sure there was something else. It was just random stuff. I'm sure there was something in the comments that had prompted me. No, my answer. I've got a new shop today, but I'll let them do the announcement. Another UK shop I have booked. They will be delivering to them next week with a whole bunch of stuff. So that was cool. It's like, yes, one of us. So that's cool. So last weekend, so I finished. Oh yeah, so I finished Olga, and then I got all panicked that I'd done it wrong, and then I decided I'd done it right, and then I was like, I'll stick by my choice. And I was really happy because I'd got everything was finished, and I thought I'm going to enjoy this weekend. I'm going to read, and I'm not going to read about the stuff that I have to read about. I'm going to read about something else, which may have put me down a rabbit hole, but it's fun when that happens. So I mentioned this book before. Look at all those little. So I mentioned this before because I'd used it as a bit of an Olga research in there, and then went, this book's interesting. And I devoured it over the weekend, and it is such a good book. It's another one on Annie's absolute must-reads. Just hold it there for you, Nancy Marie Brown. It will change what you think about the Viking Age. It will flip it on its head. You'll think, what? And it absolutely makes sense. None of it's like, hang on, what you're saying here is outrageous. You go, oh yeah, of course, duh. Really interesting, really interesting. And it's got maps in it. It talks about the role of women in the Viking Age, and a lot about the travel and trade, and then this leads into Carol was right. So on my Olga sketch, I was talking about, because I had to consume a lot of information to get anywhere near designing her. I'd gone for more of a stereotypical Swedish Scandinavian style gear. And whilst I was reading that, I went, Carol was right. It needs to be more Byzantine. So that's what Carol was right about, because she just put a comment saying like maybe it'd have more of a Byzantine influence. I'm like, no, it wouldn't. Yeah. So there was a lot of silk trade and all that. And I thought, oh, so now I've got more of an image in my head. So I messaged Alan and said, oh, I've got sculpts to show you too. I've got Anne Bonny. I messaged Alan and said, how far are you with Olga? And he's actually poorly. So get well soon, Alan. But also, so I'm going to change her dress, and I've got tomorrow morning to do that. Easy. Oh, Wes is in Peterborough. Oh, we can go to the racist ice cream vendors. What is it with surely ice cream vendors should be like the most happy, welcoming people in the world. They're just like, have an ice cream for you. What, like, sort of like a Wonka, but not like a Wonka experience Wonka. That's just like, yay, we love ice cream for all. So I'm like, not for you, no. So I got well into reading. So the book, they talk about the role of women, but it's through the tale. She weaves her own saga about the Burke. I've been calling it the Burke warrior, but it's the Birka warrior. I may still be off on the pronunciation, but I'm going for Birka, yeah, Birka warrior for now. It's probably way off, but I'll get there eventually. And talks a lot about her. So I'm reading this on my non-work, just reading about history. I have no idea how I missed this as well, because it was 2017 it came out. I do remember looking it up and everyone going, Annie, look. And I'm sure I read something and went, oh, it's been debunked. And I didn't look into it. And I'm now, about to swear, I am now very fascinated. So I read this and went, I'm buying more. So yesterday, I devoured this, the whole book in one. And it's got information on the actual, the study, how it came about, the motivations of the people, which was literally auditing bones rather than going, we're going to show that there were women. They were just auditing bones. And there's a whole gang of them. They did a peer-reviewed article, and loads of them went, yeah, it's a woman. It's a woman. And what I was surprised at so far is there's a lot of talk about the differences between sex and gender, and it's almost by history is kind of like enlightened some people, almost in like the opposite way you'd expect, because of people trying to prove that it wasn't a woman, they've accidentally become trans allies, but not. It's very odd. But from reading this and this, I am on the side that she's a warrior. It's not ornamental swords. They go through all of the different ways you could look at this by all the experts, and like, no, this grave was known to be a warrior, was called the King of Birka, and then they went, oh, it's a woman. Oh, it's probably some other reason then. So fascinated. fascinated. And then obviously there's, it gets into the same with all of the historical. It's like, well, would she have presented as a woman? And we don't know any of that. We just know stuff from the bones. And it's so interesting. And there's so many people that are just like, just won't even accept it. It's just like, no, there's no way, absolutely impossible for a woman in an agricultural society, an agricultural traveling society, to wield weapons. And the people that are all involved know their stuff. And I've been reading the debunkings, and I don't agree with the debunkings. So this, consumed on Hammock yesterday. Also really good. I finally found the person who owns the artwork. So this is the artwork of what people have reckoned her to, from reconstructing the stuff, the stuff in the grave, including the bones, but the weapons and things. That's a pretty well accepted image of what she looked like. Obviously, you don't have a face or whatever, but what was really interesting was the hat. So the hat had a metal, I don't know, it's called a little spike from a very Eastern hat. And there's a lot of linking about how many women were found in battle scenarios and stuff over in the East. And it was just down this rabbit hole. So, got that. Got this one, which I think's in more of a, this is like a storied version of it. But I just wanted everything to do with her. So I think this is in the story. Because that's pretty much what Nancy Marie does. But each chapter is kind of like half her story, where she's woven it in with other sagas and things, and then she explains afterwards why she's written this part. So it's all based on stuff. Alec has been totally dragged into the rabbit hole, I think, but it's a fine rabbit hole. And then he's been waiting for his moment all stream, 36 minutes in. Is she going to mention it? He's not sure, but she is. Jamie Mayers, there he is in the chat, got me to buy this book. So if this book sucks, it's your fault. But it's his highly, highly regarded book. Despite being called River Kings, it does talk about women a lot. And that's the bead. So also one that Mr. Hodgson had mentioned as well. So I went, yep, I will purchase that. There it is. So this is going to be this weekend's devour. Devour it. Nice and easy to read. Got a good line spacing. That's what we like. Some bad line spacing out there. And because I'm currently well into it, I'm going to read this. I'm totally making a figure of the Birka warrior, saying that now. So hopefully I will get that to Alan before he's finished sculpting Olga, and I can get her in with the gang, because we haven't done anything sort of Viking-y for ages. And I think that would be lovely. And I haven't memorised the name of the grave yet, but it's BJ something something something. 3 letters, 3 numbers. So Jez says, I have no problem with historic women as warriors. In case of Scandinavian Viking culture, I find it odd they weren't pointed out and slagged by churchmen, but that's not evidence. Well, one of the things you learn about in here is how a lot of the stuff documented about the Vikings was written by Christians like 300 years later. So a lot of the sagas that we take as Norse sagas have had somebody else write them, and for specific audiences, which he goes into as well, which is also like, and they add their own Christian twist onto it. So there were stories, and so this is how Jamie got talked at on Sunday, because something she points out is that songs and verse, basically poems, are more accurate than stories, because of the framing and how poems are. What's the phrase? Like them having to rhyme and all that sort of stuff, and the fact they're repeated as is. they're more likely to stay as they are without having bits and bobs changed to them. So she goes through a lot of those combined with all different stories, and then how certain people have mentioned the stories, like Snorri. Um, so Snorri Sturluson, one of the big ones, does a lot where he's really minimised a woman's part in the story, and there's a lot where they have a cool warrior time, and then they realise that actually their real true calling is to go home and embroider. And it's always been a bit of a when I'm reading the stories, but there was no record of anything like that until somebody was like, I need to write about how women were properly. Because you're doing it for your Christian audience with your Christian beliefs. You're not going to say, oh, all these people, actually, it was way different. You're going to, people write for their audience. And a really good example, spinning now, a really good example was in the book, again, I really recommend that book. There was some engravings of Valkyries, and people were like, oh, the Valkyries are cup bearers, they're bearing the cups. But there's nobody that they're bearing it for. Like, oh, they must be off screen. They're off screen, there's somebody else. And then it's when someone else with a different eye looks at it, and like, they're drinking beer. The Valkyries are drinking beer. But they wouldn't write that because good ladies don't drink beer, because you're coming at it from a different cultural idea, whereas there's lots of evidence that the women drank just as much beer. So stuff like that, like I said, where you'd go, of course, duh, yes, never thought about it like that. So yeah, that book had to be doing a lot of that sort of like, oh, and Snorri. I don't think it's pronounced Snorri. I don't know why I'm opening thinking, yes, of all these notes, that's what I'll come up to. The saga, what's his saga? I've forgotten already. Removed it from my brain. Various stuff, actually, he's written. Poetic and prose edda, isn't it? Here's the book, The Real Valkyrie. It was written to entertain like a king's son or something. So obviously the story was passed down the generations and things, and he was one of the first to write it. But the audience he was writing it for was like a teenage boy. So he's not going to do these look at what women are capable of sort of stories. So there's just a lot of depth to all the different sources. But people will cling on to anything that shows that there weren't women involved in stuff. And it's really fascinating about the different gender roles, and how there kind of weren't any beyond the obvious. And it's just so interesting. So River Kings is the next book. And yeah, I'm going to my mum's at the weekend, which is why I'm not here. And I'm going to devour this, and I may end up doing some more Shield Maiden figures. I think that would be cool, even though it's not on the plan. But they won't be super soon. I also finally got a hold of this. I don't know why it was really hard for me to get, but I finally got that. Anyway, so when I a bit of stuff to look at for when I do my Fighty Olga, which won't be soon, so don't hold off to get that one instead, because it'll be ages. But I finally got a hold of this, and that might have a bit more info in there as well. So I will be redesigning Olga, but just her dress. I think I may end up changing the sleeves of the dress, and having another look at the crown, but everything else is going to be the same. I have to show you. Where am I? Where would it be? My phone likes putting things into 50 different categories. Messenger, oh my god. No, I'm not sure. I was going to show you my passport picture then, but it's too bad. Messenger, pictures from Alan. There it is. So we have Mary Read with her machete, and Bonnie with her cutlass pistol. Slight concern with that about where her face is. It might be okay, but I'm gonna get Alan and the caster to talk, so I don't have to be the bad guy. I think it's okay, but I'd rather fix it before we cast. You see, she's not parallel with that. So it all depends. I need like a top-down angle so we can. What's this shining? That's showing my window. There's my window. To show the from top down, you can see where the mold line would go roughly. So you might need to look at that. There's a side on. Having to explain a half up, half down hairdo to Alan as well. There she is. There she is. There was a small discussion last night. Oh, so if it is a Julie 2.0, then it should be okay. This pose should be okay because she's very similar to the Pirate Annie pose, but it's to do with the flow of metal. So there's a lot of gap here. Whereas with Anne, it's there, and that's where you're more likely to get bloody light. More likely to get issues because there's something else here. So they could either cast it and see what happens, or fix it first. Maybe a cast and see what happens, knowing how well Alan's come out afterwards. So I'm really happy with those. There was the discussion in Baggy's Cave yesterday about why she has a machete. And you can find this out by reading the blog, communityminiaturesproject.com, which is where all the design notes are for these, and all the hours and hours of research. All of the information is in the blog. So the pictures outside, they don't stand alone. It's all about the blog and the writing, and it explains everything. She's got a machete because at the time there was a contemporary resource that said her and Anne had pistols and machetes, and that was quoted in the court trial when they were being tried for piracy, which has been my basis. But I thought we're not necessarily just pistols and machete, but I'd like to sort of honour that. So that's why she's got the machete. But people use a whole variety of weapons. So Anne's got the cut. She's got the machete because she's got the sort of deck gear. I didn't want them to have the same stuff. And she's just kind of grabbing whatever there is. I looked through all the different types of machetes to get one that was common around the Caribbean. And you just pick it, go, that's a big knife. I'm going to use that. I'm a pirate. Whereas Anne, she's in all the fancy gear because she's off to go to town and see what trouble she can make. So she's very dressed to the nines, very clearly a pirate. And she has a cutlass. So I thought that's a nice. It means that the two minis are different but complementary rather than just making what could be the same woman in two different poses. And as I said, you can switch them around. I won't tell anyone. So if you wanted to use, for example, this to be Mary Read and this to be Anne, that's okay as well. I've also made them so hopefully, well, I can't tell yet, but they should be able to stand back to back pretty well. How cool would that be? So they're fighting them off. Like, I'll get this side. She's like, but I can't because I don't have my standard issue cutlass. I only have this machete I found on the ground. Oh no, you won't be able to use that. And we also have work in progress. You have to sit down if you are standing. I don't know why you would be, but are you ready? This is Olga so far. You can hear next door. What do you think? That's Olga. That's her current status. Wee! 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 It's just the pigeons, obviously. The body is not complete. That's as far as he's got. But I want that cast. I like that. I think, yeah, just as is. Sell loads. Turkey Man's new nemesis or something. So those are being sculpted. Really happy about that. Oh, look at that. Like, look at her. Dang. Yeah, she's cool. And those two will then work well with Julie Daubigny. I feel like she would have enjoyed like causing mayhem with them as well. And it's the same period pretty much. So all the clothes sort of fit together. So that'd be really cool. So that's the greens. So that's greens to show you. Hopefully you are excited by that. Have I got anything else cool on here to show you? Anything cool? Did have something cool. I know what I've got that's cool. Oh, I heard Andrew go. Eee. Talking of, it's the lad. Look at the lad and his little chubby cheek. Ooh. So that is. Oh crap! It's 3 minutes too. I'd better get out of here. Andy will be shouting at me. He's a very shouty man. So if you are wanting more, you can head over to Andy 2D6, where I believe he's doing a battle report. And I will see you soon. I say I'll be designing, working on the dress, and consuming this at my mum's over the weekend. So, and then hopefully I'll be all fresh. And oh, also, I've got 3 minutes left. He can't take my internet. It's when he just cuts the cord. The Kickstarter metal is pretty much all cast. Just needs quality control. So the people at CMA that I use have to then go through it all and check that there's no miscasts, pack them in the little bags. So I spoke to them earlier and they said it's very likely that I'll have them in time to get and then ship before I disappear to Belgium. So while I'm in Belgium, they'll all be arriving with you. How cool is that? So that's really cool. So it's all working. Things are working. Yay. Hard work is paying off. Yes. Right. I'm going to do nothing. I'm not even going to go out and read or hang out with the pigs. See you later. Bye. Oh, yeah. Alien Romulus. Really good. Really good.